Health and safety is a team effort on any job site. Everyone has their own role to play. A supervisor is like the health and safety captain on a job site. They are leaders on site who put the employer's health and safety policies into action. According to the Occupational Health and Safety Act, a supervisor is anyone who has charge of a workplace or authority over a worker. In other words, they have control over the planning of work at a workplace and how it is carried out. This applies to people who might not have the official title of supervisor. Supervisors on an arboriculture and landscaping site must take every precaution reasonable to protect workers and to make sure workers know and understand all hazards on the job site. Let's review some of the supervisor's key responsibilities at a workplace. Supervisors make sure that health and safety laws are being followed on the job site. To do so, they must be familiar with the laws that apply to their work. The Occupational Health and Safety Act is the law that protects workers from on-the-job hazards in Ontario. It sets out the duties of all workplace parties, the rights of workers, and hazard controls. When appointing a supervisor, the employer must ensure the person is competent. To be competent, a supervisor must have enough knowledge, training, and experience to organize the work and know how it is to be performed. They must also be familiar with the Occupational Health and Safety Act and any regulations under it that apply to the workplace, and know about any actual or potential health and safety hazards. The most important safety activities happen before the workday even begins, through careful planning and hazard identification. Being proactive might seem like a lot of work, but it is worth the effort. It is dangerous and costly to only react after something goes wrong. Before work starts, supervisors make sure that workers are properly trained to use equipment safely. This might include giving hands-on demonstrations on how to use and inspect equipment. If your employer rents equipment, like a mobile elevated work platform, train workers on how to use it safely. Make sure the operator's manual is available and that workers understand it. Supervisors can demonstrate their due diligence by documenting training and other important notes in a supervisor logbook. When planning the work, supervisors fill out a Job Safety Analysis Form, or JSA. Break the work down into tasks and identify any hazards associated with each task. Also, keep in mind where the work is taking place and in what weather conditions. For example, working near power lines is a hazard that you can control by keeping workers and equipment a safe distance away. If workers will be pruning a hedge from a ladder, falling would be a hazard. For each hazard, decide what barriers or controls will be used to eliminate or reduce the risk of harm. For a ladder use task, some controls could include swapping out the ladder and working with an extendable tool from the ground, selecting the right type of ladder for the tasks, and setting up the ladder on flat ground. Once the JSA is completed, all workers should review and sign it. Safety talks are another important part of job planning and hazard awareness. They prevent incidents and injuries and encourage workers to participate in hazard prevention. Before each shift, review a safety talk that applies to the work with your crew. Supervisors also make sure the workplace, tools, and equipment are regularly inspected and that workers are using the right tool for the job. During the JSA, they will consider the risks and hazards associated with the equipment and tools being used at the workplace. Have workers been trained to use the equipment? Could safer tools be used? Can adequate controls be applied? Equipment on an arboriculture or landscaping site will likely include hand and power tools, ladders, as well as personal protective equipment, or PPE. Information about how often each piece of equipment should be inspected can be found in its manufacturer's operating manual. Supervisors represent their employer on the job and make sure the work is done safely and efficiently. If they take proper precautions, everyone can stay safe and avoid serious injuries. Be a safety leader. Visit ihsa.ca and WSPS.ca for everything you need to supervise with confidence.